What's up, guys? Welcome back to another week of 368 GG Reviews. I'm Wastelander Holly.
And I am Nurse from the actual Raiders, Narz. What's up, guys? We're going to be actually explaining and reviewing Fallout 76. Obviously, the Wastelanders DLC came out about a month ago, right? In April. But we got a chance to play it this time around, and we're going to tell you guys a little bit what our thoughts are.
And just so you know, we couldn't get the rights to Country Roads by John Denver, but just know that it is spiritually playing right now, and it will be on repeat in my head for the whole of this review.
By the way, I have to say your cosplay is fabulous.
Oh,
For all
thank you.
those.
It's from
Mhm.
Amazon.
I love it how you wink like one of those like commercial ladies from the 1960s. He's like, buy this product today.
Shout out to my costumes.
All right, guys. So we're gonna kind of go over a little bit about the game review. I mean, game overview, kind of like where it comes from. It was released in November 14th of 2018 for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox. Obviously, it kind of follows the Fallout series. I am a complete newbie. I'm gonna say this very, very, very matter of factly. I've never played Fallout in my life, so the opportunity to play Fallout was awesome. I have to say, I'm a big Morrowind fan, Skyrim, but I never got to play Fallout. I never got to see the other side of Bethesda. So, having been able to finally get to it, and I feel like we're gonna have very polar opposite points of views because you have a history with Fallout. Obviously, look how amazing you look, and I'm over here like, I tried. But honestly, like I feel like this is going to be one of the episodes that we have this time where it's going to be completely two different perspectives from it, having never played it at all.
Which I love because that makes for great conversation. I hope that this is a spiritual successor to our Crucible conversation from last week, which was totally polarizing because we had two very different opinions about the game. So I'm hoping that maybe this can spark a little bit of a discussion this week as well. So as Nars said, like I have a little bit of a history with Todd Howard. I often joke that he's my ex-husband because we've spent so many long, tumultuous years together. I own like 6 copies of Skyrim. That's not a joke. Um, so I was coming into this game really excited because I've been a Fallout fan for a while. I wouldn't call myself a hardcore fan. Do not let this fool you. Um, I played 4, I played 3, I played New Vegas, and I was really excited to play Fallout 76 because I was hoping that this would be its redemption arc after its super catastrophic launch, which we'll get into in a little bit. But as Nars mentioned before, this originally launched in 2018 at the end of the year, and it didn't get this major Wastelanders update patch till April 14th of this year. And this patch was kind of major because it actually added NPCs to the game, which prior to this patch, there were no NPCs, which was a very bold choice made by Bethesda because everybody was like, wait, how do you have a Fallout game with no NPCs? They're like the best part of the game. So, very bold choice. They realized they messed up and they fixed it. And so now the game has been updated, new locations, new characters, new quest lines, and I personally had a lot of fun.
I've never played Fallout, but I think something that's very interesting that I see it is that there's a lot of similarities between Fallout and Skyrim. And we talked about this because it kind of uses the same engine. And when you were comparing it, because it was you that made me become more aware how some of the dungeons in the game also mimic that of Skyrim. Even a lot of the playability has a lot to do with another game that you also played. Talk to us about the similarities to Elder Scrolls also online for this game.
So I'm a huge Elder Scrolls Online player. I was actually, subscribed to the Elder Scrolls Online Plus membership. Like it was that serious. I would log in daily. I'd do all my quests. I was a huge adventurer in that game. And I thought it was very funny because I noticed a lot of similarities between Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online, which I think is indicative of the fact that this is pretty much just a modern Bethesda MMO, which is pretty cool, actually. And it actually made it very easy for me to slip into the gameplay because a lot of the UI is similar to Elder Scrolls Online, and their premium membership, which we'll let you guys know about in a little bit, is actually almost identical to the Elder Scrolls Online Plus membership. So if you're an ESO player, you're a fan of Bethesda, and you like the Fallout games, I feel like this is a super easy game for you to get into. If you're not, though, we'll talk about why it maybe not. It maybe is not the most forgiving game to get started with when you're playing Fallout.
Now, right off the bat, obviously we're going to talk about preconceptions and first impressions. I think it's really important though to kind of break down the game. So when you first launch Fallout 76, there are three game modes you can kind of play. One of the game mode is kind of an open world public server that's hosted by Bethesda that you can play the game with other people. Another playable game mode is the private mode, or the I think it's called, oh my gosh, it's called it's called Private World, where you explore Appalachia by yourself or with friends, but you need to have a
Fallout First
for
membership.
Fallout First, thank you so much, membership to be able to do that. And then the last one is Nuclear Winter, which is something that's actually I never got a chance to be a part of. It's more of like a battle royale for the post-apocalyptic ruins of Apache, and you have to team up with 4 other friends to kind of like unlock the stories of Vault 51 dwellers, which is pretty cool. But just having played, we're just gonna say right now, I only played the adventure mode. I never got into the first member. I never got into the Nuclear Winter. So if anyone's like, you missed the best part, well, that was kind of like the part I wanted to play coming into this for the first time ever. What about yourself, Holly?
So I only played the adventure as well, and actually, ironically, so I had a good friend of mine help me out when I started playing this game. He was actually waiting for me to play this game for a while, and I was like, I will play as soon as this game is not a hot pile of garbage. And it's finally not as much of a dumpster fire as it was when it was released, and so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. He's actually a Fallout First member. He's one of the people that's not only been playing this since beta, he's been playing this since launch day, and he's been playing consistently since then. And his biggest gripe is that he never had enough people to play with. Because unfortunately, I think a lot of people had left a bad like taste of this game in their mouth after launch, and they weren't willing to give it another chance. But I'm hoping this review will maybe have people change their minds a little bit, because it certainly changed my mind after I played with this Wastelanders update. But my friend is a diehard Fallout 76 fan, and so seeing it from his perspective was pretty cool. And so yesterday we were actually playing on his private Fallout First server, and he was explaining to me why he feels like Fallout First is like a huge deal if you're playing regularly, and I actually do agree with him. So I don't know when you want to talk about Fallout First, but I feel like it's important to let people know about it.
Yeah, well, tell us about Fallout First. Obviously, it's like a membership. Do you have to pay for it or something like that?
Yep, so it's a monthly membership. It's $12.99 a month, and including the private server that you get to host, where you can just be you and your friends. You don't have to worry about fighting other players, getting griefed, killed, or having to share the loot during world events. You also get this special thing called a survival tent, which actually allows you to place down a tent anywhere in the world on flat ground, and it actually includes like a place for you to sleep, a place for you to stash your items, or a junk box, which is huge, because for people that have played this, they know that collecting junk in the world is imperative for crafting, but it also takes up a huge amount of inventory space. So this is why I said this was identical to ESO Plus, because it gives you a special box where you just put your junk, and it no longer takes up any sort of space on your inventory. So it makes the whole process so much more streamlined. You can actually teleport to your survival camp anywhere you leave it on the map. So it actually serves as like another waypoint for you if you want to leave a free fast travel waypoint, because fast traveling in certain locations does cause caps. The camp can offer you a waypoint like that. And you also get an allowance of 1650 atoms a month, which is the premium currency in Fallout 76. If you have atoms, you can purchase things from the Atomic Shop, which has actually some very cute items, I will not lie to you.
Absolutely. Well, we also have a video for that. We'll show you guys more of that later. But that's thorough. So pretty much you're paying for a game that's about $50, and if you want the membership, it's an additional like 20-30 bucks to be able to get it. But it's worth, we're gonna go through whether that's worth the price or not. Honestly, like, I'm not gonna spoil it. When it comes to the game though, we have to like obviously pay homage to how well Bethesda creates games. I mean, from the world of Skyrim to Elder Scrolls to Morrowind, and now with Fallout 76, the graphics and the art style and everything that you see in the environment is absolutely stunning. Like, and I feel like this is what makes this game kind of like so valuable, and how, you know, even though you're a Skyrim player or you've never played Fallout before, you can enjoy this game, because
Absolutely.
this game obviously it encourages, it motivates you to go on these events, go on these missions, just like a lot of other RPGs that you may be familiar with. But then it also adds a little like pizzazz to it, and I feel like that pizzazz comes in with the music and the art. I know you particularly have an homage to the music in this game. You actually know a lot of them very well.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I mentioned this to you when we were doing Run of Show. I have this huge feeling that the music and the radio specifically in this game is like the final piece of immersion because there's just something about putting on the Appalachia radio in the background and just vibing to 1950s hits while you're, splitting mole rats in half. Like I don't it's just like really like and I was telling Narz, because she mentioned, oh, well, I'm not really familiar with a lot of these songs. I'm like, I wasn't either when I first started playing Fallout games. And then I eventually started to learn them very quick. And now I hear my favorites on the radio and I'll actually get hype when I hear like Civilization or when I hear I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. Like I was like, oh my God, this is my jam. Like I'm in the club or something. Like I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like I just feel like it adds this like special layer of immersion to it because it really helps with the world building. And I think it creates this, atmosphere of familiarity that I think a lot of Fallout players have come to know and love. I'm not going to lie to you, I had the Fallout radio soundtrack on while I was getting ready today because I was just like, let me get myself into vibes.
What was some songs that were on the playlist?
So there's a lot of Billie Holiday. One of my favorites is one by Ella Fitzgerald called "Easy Living." There's just a lot of like really classic Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. Obviously the Fallout 76 soundtrack added what is it, Country Roads by John Denver, which
Oh
is like
yeah.
literally the most iconic song ever. I will not take criticism on that. I go absolutely nuts every time I hear it. So, because it's about West Virginia, and we're in West Virginia in Fallout 76. So how could they not include it?
So obviously the Fallout environment itself, including with the music, is something that it's part of the Fallout history. I feel like a lot of previous Fallouts kind of like had that same element to the game that made it unique and simplistic at the same time, using music to be able to give this kind of like feeling or environment or atmosphere. Do you think because of that, it became more immersive, like the music in the background? Do you think they added a different element to this game from other Fallouts that made it more immersive than like, say, like Fallout 4 that you've played?
I'll definitely say that the radio that they included felt like it just included like all of the fan favorites. Like there was Butcher Pete, there was, like I said, Easy Living. There's I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire, which everyone remembers was like a big one from Fallout 3. I really, really think that the radio is so synonymous with the Fallout 76 games. I kind of side eye people that have to turn the radio off when they're playing because I'm like, wait a minute. Do you mean you just listen to the thoughts in your head while you play?
I'm guilty of that. I actually turn it off. I only turn it on when I'm like building or anything like that. Yeah, because the thing is with me that I need sound. Sound is so important to me, and I think this just is because like I play like when I play CS:GO, I have to have like the sound super high, and it saves my life sometimes. I sometimes hear monsters come before they come. So yeah, I'm that person that turns off the music. I'm sorry. I do turn it on when I'm building or when I'm running or chilling with my friends or just hanging in my own camp. Like I'll put the music on, but very rarely I do, and so I lament that I don't have that kind of familiar love to that kind of element, which is so sad because that makes Fallout, right? Being able to hear this music, but it's like I don't get that opportunity because I come from such a different mindset, and it's so crazy like being new to this series now being like, oh man, maybe I should turn on the music more often,
I think there's just something really special about the juxtaposition of hearing like such a cute little Billie Holiday song. Meanwhile, you're like bashing ghouls' skulls in. I just think that's like really something so unique to the Fallout experience. But I will say this, the radio in this game, I love it except for the radio announcer. I just personally don't really like her monologues and I don't like her interjections very much. I don't know, like no shade to the girl who plays her. I just don't really personally like
Ooh,
her voice. No shade. No shade. You know what it is? You know what it is? My favorite radio announcer will forever be Three Dog from Fallout 3 because honestly, can you like how can you compare with the dude that's like, this is Three Dog? Ow! Like, come on, man. That's like the best one.
I honestly, I heard of like Three Dog. I was actually looking at some videos after you mentioned that, and I do remember the howl. I think that's the most iconic part of it. Now, when it comes to picking up this game, it's not easy. I- I'll
No,
be I'll be the witness to that for sure, even as a new person. But you're someone who's experienced as well. It was hard to pick up this game for you too, right?
it was, yeah, because they did change the combat system is pretty much the same as it's always been in Fallout games. You do have a presence of the VATS system, which for the people who have not played Fallout before, it's basically like this system. It's like this mode where it allows you to like slow down time to target certain parts of your enemy's bodies to help you like lock into a specific enemy. But the VATS system in this game, you actually have to like unlock the ability to target certain body parts using the perk system. And the perk system itself is it's not complicated, but it's different in this one. So I don't know how easy it's gonna be for everybody to pick up. What did you think about the leveling system and the perk system?
So I was really curious about that. A lot of people were telling me, okay, so Nars, when you start playing this game, what's going to be your build? Like, are you going to go tanky? Are you going to go? And I was just like, what are you talking about? Can I just pick a gun and shoot people? Like, it's not the point of this game, but it's very more complex and in depth, and it really focuses on what kind of play style you are. So if you want to run and gun, you can run and gun. If you want to if you want to like use a melee weapon. There's like one-handed, two-handed. There's, you have to increase perceptions, and every single aspect of the perks really allows people to be the player that they want to be. I mean, in addition to the creation aspect, you create a entity in the game just that looks like yourself. Most of the time it doesn't, but most of the time it does. The perk system really emphasizes this creative nature where if you want to have blooded armor and do like high risk high reward, then that's all for you, but you have to be radiated, you have to have radiation, you have to be mutated to be the most effective player in the game if you're looking to either be doing battle royale, because I think the perks
Right.
transfer over to the other modes as well. So it's very interesting. I just chose the I want to beat shit with a bat build. That's my build. Like, I just want to beat things. That's what I was doing.
Now I know we can't get the rights to the Beat That Bitch with a Bat song, but I
You got
I'm
me.
thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I
Now,
chose per Sorry, go
okay, so
ahead.
what were the perks that you chose? Because I want to know what you chose having had played the game before.
So I personally chose a revolver build because my friend that I was playing with, he had a shotgun build, and I felt like it was a little bit superfluous to have like two shotgun. I mean, even though two shotguns is the only thing better than one shotgun, but I was like, let me just do pistol because I like a bit of range, but I also like something that I can use up close. I like rifles, but I don't have the patience to use long range when I play Fallout, which is very ironic because when I play Elder Scrolls, I do almost exclusively stealth bow and arrow characters. So something about
Hmm.
Fallout just makes me want to like run in guns blazing. I am like, you know what? Forget the stealth. It's the wasteland, baby. We're just gonna run in. But so I went with a pistol build, which requires a lot of perks that are in the agility and luck line. For those unfamiliar with the Fallout perk system, it's called Special, which is an anagram for all of the different skill trees. Each letter represents a different skill tree that you can upgrade for your abilities in the game. S stands for strength, P is for perception, E is for what was E for again? Oh God.
Endurance.
Endurance. Yeah, wow. I just put myself on the spot there. C was for charisma.
Charisma.
I is for intelligence, which clearly I don't have. A is for agility, and L is for luck. Um, it's like hard when you're put on the spot. Really, you guys have no idea.
You did good. You did good. You missed one. That's so good.
Anyway, so you can choose each different ability tree actually offers you special abilities depending on your build. So as I mentioned before, the pistol build requires mostly agility and luck. Um, there's not really a lot of guesswork in here though, so don't worry if you don't know which ability trees are going to be the ones that you need to build, because the way that the perk tree system works in Fallout 76 is actually with perk cards. So every time you level up, you can open a new pack of perk cards, and they'll let you know what each new perk is and like what letter of the special anagram it like falls under. And so it'll actually tell you like, hey, this perk is for your pistols to weigh 30% less, or this is for 10% damage on shotguns, or this is for this. And so it's really customizable. You can totally customize your experience and how you're upgrading your character. You don't necessarily have to use it just for your weapon abilities either. There's plenty of perks that actually have a lot to do with how you take radiation, how you recover from radiation and diseases, or how you interact with the environment. Like there's a green thumb perk that lets you harvest like twice as many things from the environment. So basically, based on your play style, there's endless possibilities for how you build your character to fit your needs.
And that could be anything from wanting to beat things with a bat to wanting to have, good accuracy when you're shooting, sniping people from a distance. It really depends. Like I feel like when it comes to like some of the I guess when you decide to do, if you end up wanting to do battle royale, if you end up wanting to just beat bosses, and there's obviously a lot of inventory you can use. There's a lot of like different types of weapons that are out there. Like I found an executioner sickle that it does like reflective damage, just 50% to like the oncoming damage, and I was just like, I'm gonna be like a Naruto set. Like I'm just gonna be like, kind of just like either from Star Wars or just like I don't know. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing! Like I could do it, and it worked half the time because it's 50%. But it was one of the coolest things in the world. Like literally a sickle. It's only like level 15. I'm already over the level, but I just love the fact that I can do that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of very fun and interesting weapons. I'm personally not a big fan of energy weapons, but energy weapons are actually, once you get higher levels, some of the most powerful weapons in the game. I'm just not crazy about them. Call me old fashioned, but I just like the good old fashioned Red Dead revolver kind of guns, Like I'm a simple gal. Sometimes I just want to hit a ghoul over the head with a wrench. And I feel like that's okay.
That should be okay, especially after a long day of having to like fight back the raiders. You want to just bash some Scorch Beast heads. Like, come on.
How
Kick back
close are you getting to these scorch beasts? My God.
Okay, maybe not Scorch Beast, but maybe they're children. I don't know.
Jesus
Kill 'em when
Christ. Jesus
those
Christ,
are
Mars.
really. I'm sorry, but those are really ugly things. By the way, I had Scorch Beast. I had the unfortunate pleasure of meeting one face to face and being brutally beaten to death by one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I was April O'Neil on the sea and trying my very best to just get footage of a Scorch Beast. And lo and behold, my body parts were on the floor beside me in like 2 seconds. Which goes to tell you, ironically. Yeah. So the beauty and the I guess the curse about this is that the game really forces you to progress within its storyline. Like it really forces you not to be like you cannot be able to, and this is what it took so long for us to play this game, particularly because we were new to it. You have to be like level 20 for you to even get immersed into the real nitty-gritty of Fallout 76, which comes with bosses, new legendary weapons, a lot of the events that are made available to you. And it's just like that's where the fun part happens. So up until 20, you're grinding, you're trying your very best to do like little events here and there, and then tragically dying to random I don't know, a dog or a freaking rat or something like that, or finding a friend that could power level you, which also is a good idea. But
Huge.
I feel like this game didn't necessarily have glitches per se. It just, when it comes to leveling up, I feel like in this game, it does feel kind of grindy.
This game is extremely grindy, and I feel like that's the most important thing that we kind of hammer home here with this video. I just want to say this: this game is very unforgiving, very grindy. No matter what level you are, this continues on. I mean, I was leveling with my friend that he was like level 130 something, and he was still grinding. And it doesn't stop. If you don't enjoy grinding, this is not the game for you. It's especially challenging for new players. The reality of it is that you're going to suffer for the first 30 levels or so. You're going to suffer. Like, it doesn't get really any easier, but I feel like after level 30, you can finally start to breathe a little bit and you have the ability to enter certain areas that you maybe couldn't or didn't have the stats to enter. I mean, I feel like because of that, this game was definitely aimed more towards the like diehard Fallout fans. Like they already know the drill, they know the perks, they know which quests are worth your time, they know about the Enclave, the Brotherhood of Steel, and they're ready to just, go like knees deep into the shit that you're gonna have to wade through in order to level in the game. So if you're not ready to grind and you're not ready to dedicate like hours and hours and hours a day to getting to the levels and builds that you want, you're probably not going to enjoy this.
So picking up this game is cool, but you just need to play it with friends. Friends are really going to make this game particularly fun. Okay, because you are going to grind, but at least if you're grinding together, it's less painful and more of, we're bonding, we're having a good time, we're dying together in this mine full of all this, glowing cockroaches that are just coming out of nowhere and messing up shit, you know? So you do it together. And that's what makes the game amazing, is because you can suffer together. And some of these trash heaps of places that really have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Like, honestly, I half the time I think it was like, I don't even know what quest or what event or what. I just, ended up doing all the events and all the quests, but you can't do them alone. Why?
You
That's so
can't.
stupid. Like,
No.
I went into a mine, the first mine where Crane's treasure was in there. Mind you, I'm level like 15. I'm not that bad. I
Oh,
have a
that
really good
mine's
gun. I hate that mine, but for whatever reason, it sucks the life out of you. And then if you traverse into the world and the environment, you can get attacked by anything.
so
Thankfully, what's up?
the scorched that appear at the end of that mine where Crane's treasure is, they're like level 60 something. And I was like, what in the good goddamn is going on here? Even I was playing with my friend that I told you, like a level 130. And we were like, oh my, he was like having trouble. He was like, oh shit. He's like, I have to actually try. I was like, yeah, this is nuts. Like, that's another annoying thing about this game that I noticed is that even if you're playing against characters and enemies that are lower level than you are going to have some difficulty, especially if they're in numbers, because you have to be very strategic about in which order you're killing enemies. You have to be strategic about using your VATs. You have to be strategic about what items and weapons you're using against them. Otherwise, you're literally just going to die. Even if you're level 18, you're going to die to like a pack of level 8 wild ghouls or wild dogs or whatever. It's so stupid.
Which is exactly why I don't put the music on, because I just need to hear everything that's happening, especially like rando like mobs that are happening everywhere. So we're gonna go on to things that we liked about this game. Obviously, we liked a lot about the game. The game is actually pretty. The Wasteland, particularly the DLC, made this a very enjoyable, much more enjoyable than the original one. But character creations, obviously, we're not new to character creations in Fallout. This is not something that's new. But I know that you all have a personal affinity, or at least some thoughts about kind of like what you had hoped would be different with their character creation process.
Yeah, so I actually really liked the character creator in this game. I personally felt like it was nice that they didn't just stick with like the preset faces that you have to pick from. I'm always really bummed out when that's the character creation, when they're like, "Hey, here's like 8 presets for every human face ever. Good luck." It's like, well, that's kind of annoying. I really like the character creator in this game because it actually lets you mold your face. Like you can like isolate certain parts of the face, and then you can like move your mouse cursor around to like push and pull and like mold the shape of your character's face to make it look however you want. And I was actually really impressed by this because I was able to, for the first time ever, make a character that like kind of passively looked like me, which was a huge first because I don't know if you guys can tell, but like my nose is like crazy, and it's not easy to get those in presets. So I was able to actually replicate my nose pretty well in this one. So I say shout out to Todd Howard for that one because that was actually pretty good. So I personally really liked the character creator. How did you feel about it?
They don't have any long hairstyles, and I think that frustrated the crap out of me. I don't have short hair, I have long hair, so I wanted to kind of like have some a character that mimicked my aesthetic. So I ended up getting like a bob, and then I looked at the bob and I was like, I would look good with short hair. So I think Bethesda has put some naughty thoughts in my head. I'm not cutting my hair. I'm not cutting.
Man, I always figured it's because, I don't think you can afford to have long hair in the wasteland anyway, because, you're
That is
fighting all
true.
these things. It's probably not safe, and you probably can't wash your hair for like weeks at a time. But I'm with you on that one. I'm kind of sad that they can't do any longer hairstyles, but I mean, it makes for like some cute little vintage hairstyles. So I think.
Now, obviously, there are some iconic characters in the game in themselves that we have. Obviously, we meet at the very beginning. We kind of meet throughout the entire journey of the game. I didn't have an affinity per se to this particular character, but I did have suspicions. I haven't gotten to this point, but Crane is probably one of the characters that fascinates me the most.
Really?
And I think it's just and I think it's just because if you read the storyline, you can decide to kill him in the game. Sorry if I spoil this to anybody, but you can decide to kill him, but there is an opportunity to let him go, especially after he has already been mutated. And it's really weird, but in order for you to release him, you have to have gone through like a process of conversation within the actual dialogue to force them to let him go. And for the life of me, I'm trying to figure out, does that affect anything in the end? Does he come out of nowhere as a big like monster and save me from like I don't know, from doom or something like that? And so now I want to play the game to just find out like what happened to Crane. I let him go. I didn't let him die. I want to know what happened to Crane. And now I'm fascinated. I mean, I'm like, I want to know where Crane's at.
I shot him in the skull.
Oh, you did.
I
Ooh.
volunteered to do it too. Like he was gonna do it,
Oh,
and I was like, no, 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 let me do it. I was like, I want to make sure this son of a bitch is dead.
ooh. Rip.
I hate the Scorch. I'm sorry. I just have to say this right now. So like these enemies in this game, the Scorch, they're basically ghouls but worse because they still have like I would call the Scorch almost somewhere between like they're a halfway between feral ghouls and regular ghouls because it's like, feral ghouls have totally lost all sense of their humanity. Scorched look like feral ghouls, but they still have like some semblance of their humanity left in that they can still sort of communicate. They can like speak in broken sentences and they have like the creepiest sounds ever. I literally jump every single time I see them. They scare the shit out of me. And I don't have any rational explanation for that. They just really scare me. And so I definitely have to say least favorite enemy in the game, Scorched. And they become Scorched because they get attacked by like the Scorch Beast and they get like infected, right? By the status effects of the Scorch Beast. I hate them. I think they're disgusting. And every time I see one, I just like don't even want to bother. Like I'm just like, I just want to fast travel out of here. I don't even want to deal with you.
I mean, but they're literally radiated human beings, mutated human beings. Maybe there's still some consciousness inside their head, especially since these are these are one of the few mobs in the game that actually can use weapons. They can attack using like swords and like their aim is really I mean, it's like how can
That's
you
why
not
I hate them.
Okay, yeah. That's why you hate it, but I'm like the scientist. I'm like, how do they work? Like I want to just like dissect them and find out what's going on. Okay, maybe Mad Scientist Narz coming out.
Clearly, you're getting into character. Personally, for me, my favorite, I have a little bit of a problem. Hi, my name is Holly, and I am a ghoulaholic. I have a little bit of a problem with like I really love ghouls, like a lot. Like you know that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's
Yeah.
like, "What are your likes?" and he's like, "Ghouls." That's me. Ghouls. I like ghouls. So I think they're really cute. And I'm not ashamed to say it. When I played Fallout 4, yes, I did romance Hancock. And yes, we are happily married. And no, I will not apologize for that.
How many children though? How many children?
No children because he's irradiated. So that's unfortunately not biologically possible. But we can adopt cute little rad roaches in the environment. That's fine.
Rad roaches. I'm not coming over. That's for sure. I can't
come
stop. I can't. I'm at rad roaches. I can't do rad roaches.
Narz said I'm not eating your dish at the potluck. Ew.
No siree. I'm not coming over for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Thank
Oh
you very
my
much.
god. All right, maybe not rad roaches, but it doesn't matter. I love ghouls. Ever since the Fallout, I think it was Fallout 3 with Sharon, like the he's is it Sharon or Charon, whatever. I always said Sharon. He's like one of the followers that you can equip. He's a ghoul. Very in love with him. Hancock literally swept me off my feet. Did I download the sexy Fallout 4 Hancock mod? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. He was cute as hell. Oh my god, girl, you don't even know. He was cute.
Oh my god, tell me the tea, girl, because I'm loving all of this. We're gonna clip all of this, by the way.
This is all clippable, by the way. All of this is like Holly's ghoul problem. Gross. Disclaimer, warning, very gross. I really love ghouls. And so I will say this. One of the reasons I was super stoked about the Wastelander update, the first question I had was, where are the ghoul NPCs? And for my fellow ghoul lovers, worry not, because there is a very cute ghoul NPC, and his name is Mort. And he is located at the Wayward Tavern, which is just a stone's throw away from the vault that you emerge from. And he's there working for Duchess, and she's one of the first NPCs that you meet in the game, and she actually starts you off on the quest line, which involves Crane, which is Narz's favorite. And I like Duchess a lot, and the second I saw Mort, obviously I was like, oh my god, I am in love with you, and please never tell Hancock anything that we shared together.
You know what's interesting that you say that, because Mort's dialogue is so heartwarming. Like, he's really smart. Apparently, he's been reading all the holotapes so he can be able to help you figure out how to use your own camp. And the camp is kind of like this, it's your camp. I forgot what the acronym is for the game, for camp.
There's definitely There's
it's an acronym for something. But anyways, you place your camp anywhere in
acronym,
the
that's the
world.
word. I said anagram. Oh my god.
An
I did
acronym?
not equip any I said anagram earlier. I definitely meant acronym. I did not equip any of my intelligence perks tonight. Please God, do
You
not
put
clip
them
that.
all into agility, didn't you?
I put them all into charisma, god damn it. Aren't I funny?
So I'm trying to get Mort to come and give me babies.
Uh, obvious.
All right. So moving on. So the cool thing about this world, obviously it's long and slow, but I think one of the cool perks about it is the building concept. Is this probably the first time in the Fallout series that you can actually build your own, and this is part of the camp, but you can build your own place in this big apocalyptic world.
Absolutely. So actually, the building mode is very similar. It's transferred over from Fallout 4. One of my favorite parts of Fallout 4 was building the town. I actually, ironically, I know people that they were like, that was my least favorite part. I hate building. I just want to go shoot mole rats in the face. I'm like, that's fair. I like building, and I like finding cute little things in the wasteland to decorate my town with. So the Fallout 4 building mechanic was transferred over to this. It was updated a little bit. Obviously, you get a little bit more of a freedom of where you can place your buildings. You have the ability to place your camp anywhere on the map that is in an open space that is on flat ground. There are certain areas that are apparently very popular with people that are building on servers, and so unfortunately, some players end up like fighting for my friend kind of walked me through this. Apparently, it's like a very serious thing, like players trying to find the ideal building spot. The ones that we ended up placing our camp on was actually right outside of White Spring Bunker, which is part of the Enclave quest line. It's like a really great place, and he explained to me why, because it's like right next to a river and it's so close to the White Spring into the White Spring entrance that it actually has all of the patrol robots that like it includes with the vicinity that you place your camp in. They also protect that area too. So if you get any kind of attacks from like wild dogs, ghouls, scorched, wendigos, they will literally just take care of it for you. It's amazing, and it's like having like personal attack protectrons and assaultrons to just deal with everything for you. It's pretty great.
I mean, that works out really well because then you don't have to spend all the money to protect yourself. You have literally another town to do it for you. That's dope. Thanks for the advice. I don't think I ever actually went very far in the building process, just to do like the very basic, the workbench, the bed, the guitar that I played, so that I can be able to get some extra experience or extra perks and buffs from that.
Mhm.
I didn't get a chance to like really, and I've seen some beautiful camps. Oh my gosh, there have
Yes.
been some. I think that's like, and that's like an aspect of the game that where the atomic shop comes in, because some of the stuff that you can put in your camp and make it look really nice and flat, really, really nice, come from the atomic shop. Now, your friend particularly did have a really impressive camp that you were mentioning.
Yes, I don't know if we're able to show videos, but if we are, I would love to be able to show off my friend's mansion. If not, I could just kind of give a quick rundown of it. So my friend has multiple characters, and depending on which character you have equipped, you can have a separate camp for each separate character. So if you want to have a different kind of house, or you want to experiment with different building styles, you can actually just make a new character, and then you can experiment with a brand new camp that way. And so he actually walked me through some of the interesting things that you can do with your camp. One of the really cool things that he had was a water purification system, where if you have water purifiers and you place them over running water or any kind of water source, they can farm purified water for you, which is imperative for keeping yourself hydrated in the game. One aspect of this game is that you have to keep very close eye on your status effects in the game, which includes how hungry or thirsty you are at any point, or how irradiated you are. Um, Purified water is the only way to keep yourself hydrated without taking any radiation. So obviously there are things that you can drink, but you'll get a little bit irradiated. Being a little bit irradiated is not a big deal. Everybody does it. All the cool kids are getting irradiated. It's not a big deal. But like obviously it takes a chunk of your health. So he has a water purification system, which was very cool. He also had a bunch of vending machines in his shop as well, which are open to all players. And he explained to me this mechanic in the game where if you have vending machines in your home on your camp, you can leave it open to other players and you can sell items from your inventory, which is very cool because it allows players to come in. They can't touch anything in your house really to fuck it up or anything, but they can interact with the vending machines and they can purchase weapons, items, they can purchase recipes from you. And so he leaves certain recipes, certain items that are maybe harder to farm. He can make money doing that, which is very cool. And so he explained to me that because most of the merchants in Fallout 76 can only have a cap limit of like 1,400 caps a day to sell to them, the game's economy is reliant entirely on the players, and so buying and selling from each other using these vending machines in the world. So that was a very cool thing that I learned. So a lot of really cool things you can do with your home. He also had like a little farm where he was harvesting gourds, because that's one of the ingredients that you need to make what's called cranberry relish. So Narz can attest to this. Grinding in this game is super hard because gaining EXP is like impossible. And even with all of the EXP buffs active, it's still going to be like at a snail's pace. There are certain status effects that you can force in the game that make it a lot easier. You can be well rested. You can play an instrument so that you can become well tuned. When you're well fed and well hydrated, those give you status effects for EXP bonuses. And then there's a special item in the game called cranberry relish, which is exorbitantly difficult to craft. But once you have the recipe for it and you know how to find the ingredients for it, it actually gives you like a plus 10% EXP bonus, which is kind of major when combined with everything else. It's just so hard. I don't know if we're able to show the videos, but like my friend was walking me through it last night, and we had to go to 3 separate locations. We had to go to a very specific place just to get fresh cranberries. And he was like, you can't get the irradiated cranberries, you can't get the diseased cranberries, you have to get the regular cranberries, and you need boiled water and you need sugar. So we had to go to this place to get like cat tails to get sugar. It was
Wow.
so needlessly complicated, right? And then after all of that, you craft it and then it could still go bad. Food items can literally spoil in your inventory, including any kind of items that are for EXP bonuses. So unfortunately, like you could go through all that work and then it just spoils on you. So this game is like really, really annoyingly hard with little things like that, because it's like, oh, well, we're gonna make you go on a wild goose chase to get this, but then like it's not even gonna last you that long. So
Well, you can do it together with your friend because it is online.
yes,
Ah.
exactly.
The only downside for it being online though is that it's not cross-platform, so you can only play with people in the actual platform you're playing on. So if you're playing on PC, you can only play with PC people. If you're playing on PlayStation 4, only PlayStation 4, so on and so forth. But I mean, the same kind of like perks, the same kind of like features, enhancements, DLC are available across all platforms. So if you're looking to pimp out your camp, you can do that by buying stuff from the Atomic Shop. There's also free stuff that comes out on the Atomic Shop. So if you ever are like, I don't want to buy it, but you want to get cool stuff, there are some cool stuff that drops on a daily and a weekly basis. There's also cool events that happen where if you participate in the event, there was an event that literally just happened a couple weeks ago. We unfortunately missed it. You can be able to get like a Deathclaw helmet or something like that that's craftable after a certain time, because you can get an item from an enemy during the event. I was fortunate enough to come across someone that was like, I got this Deathclaw hat. You want it? And I was like, yeah. So I got a Deathclaw hat. And someone was like, where did you get that? You just started. And I was like, yeah, I just started. Someone just gave it to me. It's like, that was a really important item. How could you have just gotten it? And I was like, I don't know, whatever. I got a Deathclaw hat. But there are really cool things about it. I love the 1950s, 1960s kind of like ambiance, the decor, and the possibilities are endless for like what you can imagine and what you can create. And obviously, you know how big your wallet is, because if you want to get certain things that are really nice, you're gonna have to fork over some money about it. But would I say it's innovative? Yeah. I love the building aspect too. And like just what you were mentioning, like being able to create like a camp that has like a vendor that you can then sell, like it then really it enforces the players to take control of this world and make the world the best world it can be. Obviously, like, you know, there was a moment where it was like the hottest game. Obviously, it's been around for a while, and obviously from the DLC, it's been changed, but it's still kind of the same game. There is an enjoyment to it that I find absolutely innovative and different from other games. Like, you can't tell me that Riot Games has like a vendor where, like, you know, like a shop that you can create, that you can be able to sell items that you don't want. Like, if I could sell some of my old icons, or if I can give away my blue essence to somebody, that would be dope. And you don't have this kind of like mechanic in like Skyrim either. I mean, Skyrim isn't online, but like with Elder Scrolls Online, Do you? So let me ask you then: does Elder
Mhm.
Scrolls kind of have that same mechanism where you can like sell and buy items from other players?
There is, but it's it very similar to something like World of Warcraft where there's just like an online shop where people can bid on items. It's like an auction house. So it's definitely not as easy. And also with Elder Scrolls Online, I mean, I actually don't know how true this is because I unfortunately haven't played in a couple of months. But the last I left it, there was no custom building aspect to the Elder Scrolls Online. You could purchase pre-built houses, but there was no in-depth building system much as there is in Fallout 76. So that's is definitely I'll say it gives an edge to Fallout 76 over Elder Scrolls Online. And I wonder how long it'll be until Bethesda tries to implement a free building option in Elder Scrolls Online because that would be something I would be totally stoked to see. So maybe Bethesda Todd, what's the vibe, Todd? What do you think?
What's the vibe, Todd? Now, do you find obviously you've had more experience with Fallout? Do you find this an innovative progressor to the entire series? Do you think that they kind of could have done something different, something more, something better?
So I have to say that I think that this game definitely included all of the aspects that I loved from Fallout 4 and then just kind of continued to build on them. I will say that I consider this to be like a spiritual successor to Fallout 4, like a spiritual like continuation of Fallout 4 because the biggest way that I described this game to people was like it's like Fallout 4 with friends. Just in like a slightly different location because you're not in Boston, you're in West Virginia, which is perfectly fine. But there's so much of the game that is familiar, which is awesome because it's kind of like a warm hug coming home to the Fallout Wasteland. I would say it is definitely innovative. As you said before, I think it has a lot of really strong mechanics that give it an edge over other Bethesda titles. When I was reading the press for this game, ironically, there was one article, I believe it was by Polygon, that they said that Fallout 76 is the best Fallout game that they've made to date. I don't know that I would agree with that because I definitely prefer Fallout New Vegas. I feel like they really peaked with New Vegas. But I will say that this one is definitely they definitely came back from the trenches of where this game was when it first came out.
So, do you think then that within the game itself, is it rewarding to play the game? Do you find the game something as like if you really loved Fallout 4, you will absolutely love Fallout 76?
Yes, I do actually have to say that if you love Fallout 4, you will love Fallout 76 because it pretty much gives you the same experience. It's just more open world and it gives you a lot more freedom in the building aspect, especially now that they've added the NPCs. I think before they added the NPCs, I think that that was like the weirdest possible choice that they could have made for the game. They were like, oh, we're just going to rely on our player base to create the world for you. But there's no way that you can put the burden on the players to create an entire
Mhm.
world for you. Like that's super lazy and that's just I don't know. I understand the sentiment, but it can't be done. And not for a title like Fallout where all of the juice of the game is literally in all of the NPCs that you meet and you grow
Mhm.
so attached to. Like there are so many NPCs that so many diehard fans are like, "Oh my god, this is like the best character ever and I love them." Like that's half your experience. So I definitely think if you loved Fallout 4, you're gonna love this. And if you love Fallout in general, give it a chance. Maybe you won't like it, but it's not for everybody. But I did like it, so maybe you will too.
Well, I'm not gonna say I liked it. I'm gonna just say it was enjoyable. It was very much enjoyable. I honestly like I will explain why, but before we get
Okay.
into that, I think it's important to just mention is this so one of our things that we like to talk about on this show is this game popular on Twitch? And this is just for anyone that's a content creator that kind of wants to be able to stream this game or create content on the game. There are a lot of content potentiality for this game when it comes to building, when it comes obviously to the new DLC, when it comes to like funny highlights that happen on your stream, or just playing the game in general. I mean, we have some statistics. We won't bore you with it, but we will tell you that when it was released on the DLC specifically, there was a huge skyrocket of views. You can be able to get like we saw like max concurrence in the thousands. But obviously within the last 30 days, as the hype for it has waned, you've seen a lot more of the core community still watching, still supporting. And that's something I definitely wanted to discuss today because the Fallout community is fucking amazing.
They're
Like
amazing.
They are absolutely
We
amazing.
salute you, Fallout community. We love you.
You guys are honestly like, I wish all communities were like the Fallout 76 communities. And we're talking about the DLC Wastelands like post like one year after the release of the game, because we know there was a lot of debate whether like, you know, the Fallout 76 people or the community were good. They're good now. But we know that there have been some toxic people in the past. A lot of them obviously have filtered out. And so you have the core amazing community that's willing to check out other people's streams, support them that are playing Fallout 76, even going so much. And I want to tell this story. I actually know a friend now. Now he's my friend. Get him if you're watching this. Who was watching my streams, watching me play Fallout 76, obviously watching that I was playing this game alone because I didn't have anyone. Holly was playing at a different time, and Holly was also traveling at the time, so it was very hard. And I'm trying to play this game, and I keep dying in the same location, and this guy was just like, he was like, "Do you need help? What do you need? Here, let me." He helped. He gave me a power armor suit. He fixed it. He gave me like I had people dumping like just adding stuff to my camp, giving me like shotguns and guns that were like way above my level and armor, and I'm just like, you don't even know me. And they're like, we just want to support. Like, we see
Yeah.
that you're new. We just want to help you out. And I feel like that, as much as I don't like the game itself because of the lack of people, the people that are a part of this game, the community, really make this game worthwhile. And I think that aspect of the game is what I loved about the game. The community, the people that are still playing it, the people that are still active. And it's like, that's the Fallout community, not the toxic people that, like are like, boo, this game sucks. Like, yeah, the game has its flaws, sure. But at the end of the day, it's the community that makes the game, in my opinion. I don't know about yours.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like that's something that I've always experienced for as long as I've been playing the Fallout games. The Fallout community is amazing. I will say this even in the creator aspect of this as well. I'm talking the people that are making the mods, the people that are in the workshops, the people that are creating fan art, the people that are doing the cosplay. Like, come on. I've seen such unbelievable Fallout cosplay. The fan fiction, like, shout out to you guys because like y'all are killing in the game too. I have to say this, like the Fallout community is amazing and they're so giving. I want to kind of use this anecdote of my friend that I was playing with. Like I said before, he's been a diehard since day one. And when he was explaining the vending machines in his camp to me, he was explaining that a lot of the things that he had available for sale were things that he felt that could benefit lower level players. Because as I mentioned before, we were just outside White Spring Bunker, which is a higher level area in the game. It's definitely not for like new players unless you have someone holding your hand. And he said that he allows people to purchase these things that are really hard to get or could really help them for like almost no caps because he's like, if you're a new player and you're in this area, then yeah, you can just have it. And he's like, I just want to make other people's experience enjoyable so that they want to continue to play the game, so that there are people that are continuing to play and that they keep the community alive. And I think that's really, really awesome. I think having that mentality and mindset when it comes to helping your fellow man and helping your fellow player, I think that's like, I think a lot of communities can learn from that because the whole idea with Fallout players is that we're just all trying to help each other like have a better game experience. Like, hey, shout out to that person on Nexus Mods that made the sexy Hancock Fallout 4 mod. Like, you literally changed the game for me, girl. Thank you.
I feel like we're gonna lose you to Fallout 76 modifications. You're just gonna go into that world and never come back.
It's fine.
You're like, I'll be back. Just give me like a day or two. So this game, so the pricing for this game, I bought the bundle. I bought the Raiders and the Settlers bundle. In my opinion, it was a good addition to the game. It did give me the element that I so desperately wanted, which was a full-fledged experience of Fallout and the opportunity to be able to have that. I think that was something that was different from the previous series. Obviously I chose Settlers. I didn't choose Raiders, but now I do want to make another character to choose Raiders. But in your opinion, obviously there is the game, the DLC, and then there's the first members only monthly membership. Do you think the pricing for this game is kind of on par with what you're going to be receiving, or do you think that people should kind of like make their purchasing powers limited depending on what they want to experience?
I love this question because when this game launched, in the end of 2018, I was working at GameStop, and I will never forget all of the outraged, disappointed people who came in either same day or the next day trying to trade in their copy of Fallout 76 because they were like, "This is bullshit. This is the worst thing ever. I can't believe Bethesda really thought they could charge me $60 for this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." You do not want to know how many copies of Fallout 76 that they actually recalled from our stores because they just weren't selling.
Whoa.
And the district was like, "Hey, we're just gonna need you to ship those back." And I was like, "Oh, dip, that's like serious." So, at the time, absolutely not worth the money, and I was not going to be caught paying $60 for that game. The game right now, ever since they moved it, so this was another big thing people were kind of annoyed with, that you had to purchase Fallout 76 on the PC through Bethesda's personal launcher rather than through Steam, which like I'm really tired of all these companies that are trying to get me to download their
Yeah.
launcher. Like, please don't do that. Just put it on Steam. Just put it on Steam. I really don't have time for this. Anyway, they finally put it on Steam after the update, and now it's $40. Do I think $40 is a fair price for this game after the Wastelanders update? I will say a soft yes. Do I wish it was $30 because that's what I paid for Elder Scrolls Online? Yes. But it does have a few better perks to it than Elder Scrolls Online, so I'll say yes. I do think, tentatively, softly, yes, it is worth the money. For Fallout First, I say it's worth it if you're someone like my friend and you're going to be playing a lot and crafting a lot and adventuring a lot. It's literally just you're paying for your peace of mind at that point. Because there was nothing more infuriating when I was playing this game than playing the inventory game, moving my junk around. Oh, you're over encumbered. You're using AP. You can't fast travel. It gets old really fast. So if you're paying for the peace of mind of saying, "Hey, I can just drop my survival tent here and I can just throw all my junk in the trunk," like, why not? You know? So, and you get the allowance and you can buy cute stuff on the Atomic Shop, which, like, I just want to say, the Atomic Shop has this cute little event going on right now for Mothman, and the Mothman backpack. I bought it. I bought it. I did. I'm sorry. It's like it's like a cute little plushy Mothman, and he's like in a backpack, and he's got like his big ooh woo eyes, and he's looking at it. And he's like, ooh. He's so cute. He's so cute. I was like, man, how do I not spend real money on this? Come on, like I really.
Yeah, speaking of Mothman, let you say that. Tell me how the first thing I saw after I left Vault 76 was freaking Mothman. And like someone was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like literally walked out the vault and there's something with red eyes just staring at me. I was like, "I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." And then like disappeared and then someone was like, "You got blessed." And I was like, "Yes, I was. You're absolutely right. I was." And I read up on like who this Mothman was, and now I'm a cultist.
Absolutely. I love Mothman. Man, if you do his there's a quest that will it's like a world event that will pop up at the lighthouse every once in a while on the map. It's called the Way to Enlightenment, Path to Enlightenment, whatever. And you kill little lightning bugs, you collect their butts, and then you put the bioluminescent fluid in the light to summon Mothman. And then if you talk to him, Wise Mothman gives you an EXP bonus for like an hour. It's lit. Or like an hour until you die. It's lit. So honestly, Mothman, you're cool as hell.
I feel like we should cosplay Moth, like do Moth Woman, right? I would do it.
Oh God, are you kidding me? something about the something about the big red eyes and the spindly little arms. It's just. I think this is gonna be a theme.
Emote. I'm just gonna start doing the emote every once in a while.
Just like.
All right, so guys, just to let you know, if you guys are thinking about getting the DLC, there is a Raiders and Settlers content bundle. If you want to pay the extra money for it, it's about $19.99 for each of the bundles. The Raiders bundles comes with a power armor skin that's in the Raiders kind of like black and red kind of like coloring. You get a mine car planter, a Raiders camp, a Raiders conquest loot bag, obviously Raiders pillage backpack, the Pathfinder outfit, the stash box, and the fraction flag. And it's the same thing if you pick the Settlers. You get the trailer camp loot bag, backpack, outfit, box, and flag, and obviously a different power armor skin. So yeah, it depends on if you want to spend the money to get a nice skin and some of the stuff for your camps. So that's what the DLC content bundle comes with if you do decide to go purchase it on Steam. If you don't want to purchase the DLC bundles, you don't have to. The game is $59.99 over on Steam. It's available.
It's $40, right? Isn't it? It's $40.
It's 15. Oh wait, yeah, it's $40. my bad. You guys are right. $39.99. Well,
They
thank you
dropped
for
the
the correction.
Bethesda was like, we know you know it's not worth $60.
They're like, we'll give you DLC. Give us the money, please.
Todd was like, okay, you win this time.
So is it worth it then at the end of the day? Is it worth $39.99?
$39.99, like I said, a soft yes. What do you think?
Yes.
What do you think?
See, if I didn't know about the community, no, because in my mind, I have to play this game with friends. And if my friends don't play Fallout, I have to buy the game for them so they could be interested. We can play together. But I mean, with the community makes the $39.99 worth it. So that's that fine no. I would say no, but if it comes with a good community, yes.
I personally think that the community kicks ass. So I hope Todd Howard understands that you guys are literally carrying this game on your shoulders.
Yes. So am I buying it? No, I'm not buying it. I will only buy it if I know. I will only buy it if I knew that the community, like, I would have bought it, but I didn't. But I bought it for the show. So there you go. There's my answer.
So while we've come to the end, sort of the end of the episode, I kind of really want to bring this up because I mentioned this in the run of show. I definitely want to address all of the controversy that happened with this game at launch. As I mentioned before, when I was working at GameStop when this game launched, I was actually shocked at how much of a failure it was because so many people kind of looked to Fallout as like this almost like golden child of gaming, and it has such a diehard fan base, and so many people were like, oh my god, it has Fallout on it, shut up and take my bottle caps, you know. But all of a sudden this game came out and it was such a huge flop because Bethesda kind of overpromised, underdelivered, and then everybody was like too jaded to open their hearts to them again, which was really upsetting to see. I pulled a couple of news stories from when the game launched, and I just wanted to read a couple of my favorite headlines from the few days following the launch. We have Fallout 76 is the most disappointing game of 2018. That was from Screen Rant. We have The Guardian said that Fallout 76 was a pointless walk in the apocalypse. Polygon said that it may not be possible to save Fallout 76. And then my personal favorite story, God, do I love telling this story. When the game was launching, there were obviously different editions of the game that you could purchase. There was the standard edition, Tricentennial edition, and then there was the $200 Power Armor edition, which was supposed to come with a very nice canvas military bag. Unfortunately, Bethesda decided that it was going to be appropriate for them to change what the material of the bag and quality of the bag would be without notifying anybody. And when they shipped out the editions of the game, people opened their copies and they were like, holy shit, what is this? Because they ended up like replacing the really nice nylon with like a shitty canvas, like really nice canvas with like a shitty nylon. And so it was basically like this shiny, ugly garbage bag, like sleeping bag plastic, and people were like, this looks nothing like the pictures. I paid $200 for this. You have to be joking. And so Bethesda actually faced a class action lawsuit as a result of this because a ton of the players came together and they were like, there is absolutely no way that
they did a class action lawsuit.
Yes. Yes, because there was also so it wasn't just the $200 Power Armor edition coming with like the substituted bag. It was also because there were some issues with refunds on the digital store. Like they were refusing refunds on the digital store for the game, and people were like, "This is ridiculous. You guys can't." So this was like the issue with them having their own personal launcher for the game, and you could only purchase it through them and not through Steam. They were refusing refunds. Which almost makes you wonder, like, hey, did they do that because they knew people were going to ask for refunds? Like, what's the truth? But anyway, they almost got into a class action lawsuit. They ended up having to, like, 7 months after the game came out, they eventually replaced the nylon bags with the nicer bags. And people were like, cool, but it's been, like, almost a year, so, like, what do I do with this?
Oh my gosh.
So,
That's a holy crap. That's a month. I did not even know that. Thank you
Yep.
for holy crap.
Yep.
So let me ask you something. Did you get a bag then, or
Hell no, I didn't get the bag. Are you crazy? No way. Girl, I could sew a nicer bag than that shit. Get out of here.
Oh my god! I just had to ask because you were getting heated in the moment, like if it was something that happened to you. But I would be good.
No. I was
I
just
would.
really involved. I was.
Yeah. But $200. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Who was in that table? Who was in that office who thought that was a good idea to switch it to a nylon like plastic bag, and then nobody would like bat an eye that they paid $200 for that?
Yep.
I would have raised hell too. Shit.
And then they had like this like shitty story where they're like, "Oh, we had a problem with the manufacturer and they had to switch out materials." And it's like, okay, well then you tell your consumers what happened, and you don't just try to be sneaky and give them a garbage bag and then pretend everything's okay for $200. Okay.
The way the way your hair will just with your wig just like wiggled
Ooh, when the wig
when
wiggles, you know.
you fudged up.
I'm just saying, this is the ballad of the bag, the Bethesda ballad of the bag. Okay, this is some very serious gaming internet history. I'm your resident internet historian here. But yeah, so I say this all because I want to give a contrast to everything that happened and how much of a dumpster fire this game was when it came out, as opposed to now. So I pulled some headlines from when the game released recently, just to get an idea of what the press had to say about the update. And The Verge said that Fallout 76's Wastelanders update almost makes it feel like a proper Fallout game.
Wow.
Eurogamer said, for the first time, I'm having fun with Fallout 76. And Vice said Wastelanders makes Fallout 76 the best Fallout Bethesda has made, which I don't agree with that, Vice, but you do you, boo-boo.
They got paid. That's what it is. That was a paid review. That was a paid. They needed one to be paid.
Todd gave them my alimony.
Todd gave them the money that people paid for the bags.
That was canvas bag money, baby. Ooh, Vice, how did that canvas bag money taste, baby? How did that spend? Spends real easy when you know it's on the tiers of gamers, huh?
Oh man, alright. So besides that, Fallout obviously is notorious for amazing fan gallery, cosplay, and just all around community in galore. I wish we could show you guys some of the fan cosplay and gallery, but unfortunately I don't think we're capable for technical.
I'm right here.
But we got Holly, so you know what? There's your
I just want to give a shout out because, like, obviously I'm biased, but like there was one cosplayer that I saw at Dragon Con last year, and they were dressed like Hancock, and they did like the full ghoul makeup with like full SFX, skin melted, irradiated, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And also, I was too nervous to ask them for a picture because I was like,
you were fangirling really hard. Oh man. Hopefully you'll see him again. I mean, put it out there in the air and just be like, husband, come back to me.
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I just want to say, shout out to the Fallout cosplay community, and keep doing your thing because you guys are like majorly killing the game. Like major.
Yeah. If there's anything you guys are gonna get from this video is that the community at Fallout, the Fallout community, and everybody that is a part of the online servers, you guys are freaking awesome. Like from the cosplays to just the fandom, like Bethesda is lucky to have y'all as the audience members. I'm just gonna say that. I'll leave it at that.
I would like to give a shout out to my friend Katie LeGray. She does a fantastic Nuka-Cola girl cosplay. It's like the cutest little thing ever. She's an amazing little pinup. I just want to say, like, her cosplay is amazing. You can go check her out. I wanted to do Nuka-Cola girl for this, but I did not have the time because, life and Corona.
It's hard. I couldn't even get a suit. Like, I wish I would have gotten the suit. Here's just some videos of just amazing
Yes,
cosplay.
Dragon Con! Yes, Dragon Con. Literally the best convention ever. But also, please postpone the con so I don't lose my money this year.
Hopefully.
They're continuing the con this year. I'm like, you guys cannot get away with this.
I mean, I say hold your hands up in the air, wave them like you just don't care. This year 2020 has been a doozy of a ride. So I'm just kind of like doing the things I
Okay, there you
love.
go, cosplay. There we go.
Oh
There's
my
your
god, there you
husband.
go.
There's
There's your
my
husband.
husband. It's not the cosplayer I saw, but they're still pretty good too. Yeah, look, see, Nuka Cola girl, so cute. Like I
Very
love this.
cute.
Everybody's so. I love, as you guys know, I'm a cosplayer. I love my cosplay community, and I just want to say that Fallout cosplayers, you guys have a special place in my heart. Look at that. Look at these good little boys and girls and others. I love you guys.
Yeah, so are we hoping for a Nuka Cola HollyPeppermint cosplay for
Yes.
in the future?
Yes,
Yes.
I would love to if I can find a glass bowl that fits over my head. I have a big head, and I couldn't find one with a you have to use, like, one of those, like, lamp cover thingies to, like for, like, her helmet, and I couldn't find one, so
Oh, well, if anyone's out there that can make she'll buy one. Call her.
I think the Stereo cosplayers have it, so please just, like, hit me up.
Yeah, I would love to cosplay. See, now that like you say you got that vault, you said you got the vault suit on Amazon. Now I kind of want to just buy one. Had I known that, I would have bought one.
Girl, if I knew you didn't have one, I would've just
No.
linked you out a bit. It was super cheap too. Again, shout out to Mike Costumes. Please sponsor me, please. I love your costumes. They're great.
Just putting that in there.
A little plug. It's not an episode until I plug, like I shill to some company. Last week it was Amazon. This week it's Mike Costumes. Who will it be next week? Not Naughty Dog because they've disappointed me. That's for next episode.
Yeah, speaking of next episode, guys, for our next week's game review, we're going to be reviewing The Last of Us Part 2. And as you know, we're on Wednesdays now, so it'll be next Wednesday. We're going to be on Wednesdays moving forward. That's going to be it for today's review.
We didn't review the game. We didn't give it a number.
Oh, that's right. We didn't give it a number. I'm already like way past this.
You're ready to log off. You're
I'm
like,
ready.
"Nah." She hated this game so much, like, I want to be done with this too next week.
All right, so we'll throw up the game score. We'll go. How this works is we kind of give it a review between 1 and 4, depending on how we like it. Holly, do you want to give your score?
Yes, I would like to give my score. So just as like a recap for everybody, we had a graphic, but I don't know if we can pull it up right now. Oh, it's up? Okay,
Yep.
great. So basically, I would give this game, you're gonna be kind of shocked by this one. I would give this game a 3.
3. Nice.
Because
Okay.
I would play this game, but I would understand why people wouldn't. I have to say that over the course of me playing this game, I ended up having way more fun than I anticipated. I went in actually excited to play this game, and I was really hoping that my excitement wouldn't wane, and it didn't. Like, I felt very compelled to continue playing, and I will continue to play even after we are done with this episode. So I will say I understand why some people may be jaded as of the all of the goings on post launch with this game. But I say open your heart just a little bit. Let Todd Howard in once again. Maybe he won't disappoint you. It's almost always that he will, but maybe he won't this time. So I'm gonna say it's a 3 for me on the GG scale, and I definitely like to play it. I'm not gonna judge you if you don't want to play it, but give it a chance. They might do another free weekend. Just hop on, see if you like it. They do free weekends sometimes.
And obviously the beauty about it is that if you're scared to play alone, you can play with somebody else. So that's kind of like the good thing about it. Just trying to find someone else to play with is going to be the tricky part. But as we said before, the community, you can play with Holly. Out of the community, there are tons of people that are actually playing it online, which makes it even better. And I think for me, I'm gonna give this a 2. I know that I've said so many positive things about it, but I am not a Fallout. I like I said before, I've never really played Fallout before. The only reason I played this game was because they told me to. But also because it has a PvE aspect of it. And I think that, and I'm going to say this because if you really are afraid of playing Fallout, like you don't play games like that, you don't play shooter games, and it can be a little bit scary because obviously like the things that are attacking you are kind of scary, but you want to kind of like trickle into the Fallout world. You think it's interesting, but you don't know where would you start. This is a good starter game. If you've never played Fallout game, this is probably a game you should probably start out with. And I don't say that because I don't like the other series. I just think it's a little bit more enjoyable to play a series that you're completely oblivious towards if you have people to play with. And that's why I give this a 2, because it would be a 3 if there was a robust community that you can continue to play this game. There wasn't a grinding, like it didn't feel like you were grinding to play it, because I did try to play alone, that wasn't the problem. The problem was is that it was very difficult to play alone. Like you have to play with somebody else, but finding somebody else to play is hard. But there is a community, so there is back and forth, but it doesn't justify me to give it a 3. I don't feel like I'll play this game after this unless like my friends are like, hey, let's jump on, let's kill some scorch bees. I would play it, so that's why I have to give it a 2.
I respect that. I do agree with you that I think this might not be a bad idea if you're just starting out with Fallout to try this because it allows you to play with your friends. I do feel like, overall, this game does a really good job of storytelling. You don't necessarily have to follow the main story. You can do exactly what you want to do, or you could follow the main story. I think the Fallout way of telling story is really great because there's the holotape mechanic where you can find little cassettes in the world and you can have them playing in the background while you quest, which is amazing because I think one of like my least favorite things about playing games, I'm not kidding, is when you have to read those long notes and it's like it really kind of grates on you after a while. And so Fallout has like this really great immersion where it's like monologues told from the perspective of the characters. You can listen to them while you grind and while you quest and while you do other things, and it's like a great way to kill two birds with one stone. So it's very easy for you to pick up as a new player. And so, yeah, I would definitely actually agree with you on that. So if you're thinking of picking up Fallout, give 76 a try. If you don't like 76, play New Vegas. And then if you don't like New Vegas, never speak to me.
I thought you were gonna be like, Fallout series is not for you.
No, well, okay, so like I definitely feel like I just want to say this before we jump off. I feel like everybody is either an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout person. This is something that I've been saying for years. And I feel like there's definitely people that like both, but I feel like you're always either more of a Fallout person or an Elder Scrolls person. I myself, though I may fool you here, am way more of an Elder Scrolls person. And so I just find that those games way more immersive than Fallout. That doesn't necessarily mean I don't like it. It's just that I feel more comfortable playing in the Elder Scrolls universe. Maybe you're just that kind of person. It's okay, and you don't have to feel ashamed for it.
I'm not ashamed. I'm guilty of that because I do play. When I played Skyrim, I played the heck out of Skyrim. I played that game so much. But when it comes to obviously Fallout, I can't play that game alone. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if
scary.
it's scary. It's
scary.
It's too scary for me. Ooh woo.
Ooh, woo, so scary. Ooh,
It
woo.
was so scary. But that's how I feel. Like it's just a little too scary. And it's creepy. It's crazy because it's kind of like it's the same graphics.
Yeah,
It's kind of very,
it's the same
it's the
thing.
same exact thing, but for whatever reason, maybe because it's the realism for
Yeah.
it frightens me. Post-apocalyptic, radiation, nuclear bombs, like that is something that we could potentially live through. That's actually like a real life situation that could potentially happen. Whereas like, oh, there's a vampire, there's a bunch of werewolves, I'm gonna go fuck them up. Like that's so
Yeah.
much easier for me to cope with
I
than
agree
like
with
a
you
nuclear
100%.
bomb.
No, 100%. That's why I feel like it's hard for me to express to some people where I'm like, I just get really depressed sometimes when I play Fallout. And that's another reason why I need to keep the radio on because, like, in my brain, I'm like, oh my God, impending nuclear doom, the apocalypse, the wasteland, losing my skin. But then it's like, I don't want to set the world on fire. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay. We're listening to some vibes right now. It's all good. So, yeah, Fallout kind of depresses me a little bit in that way. But I also think it's an important game because it also shines a light on a lot of really interesting topics as well. I think the further you get into the lore, the more you realize that these characters have a lot of depth. The storylines have a lot of depth. The Enclave, the Brotherhood of Steel. I say literally, please just give it a chance because I fought against it for so long, for so many years, and then I finally started playing Fallout, and I ended up like really enjoying myself. So give it a chance, and I'll give it a 3.
I'm not saying not to give it a chance. Give it a chance, especially if you played Skyrim, Morrowind, or Elder Scrolls Online. Give it a chance. Fallout 76, of course. And if it's something that you like, but I'm still gonna give it a 2 because
That's okay.
It's just not for me. I'm a Skyrim girl. Not for me.
That's not totally understood. All right, Narz, why don't you let them know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, obviously, if you'd like to know a little bit more about me, you can go ahead on over to my Twitter or Instagram at Narz. Go to my website at narz.co or check me out streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 11 a.m. over at twitch.tv/Narz with 4 Zs. Yes, ZZZZZ, because one Z was taken, and they want $100,000 for the name, and I'm not giving them it. So fuck
We're
'em.
still saving. We're saving.
Yeah,
We're
we're
hoping to
still
get that
saving.
back for her.
Yeah. You can donate if you'd like. Donate to my fund. Check me out tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. I will be playing The Last of Us Part 2, which is the next game we're going to be reviewing. Now, Holly, if anyone wants to follow you and your gorgeous ass cosplaying self, where can they follow you?
You can find me on all social media at HollyPeppermint. I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. I have not set a streaming schedule in place because I'm still waiting for my computer main gear. You guys have kept me waiting since last month. Like, I don't know what's going on, but come on. Anyway, I'm at Holly Peppermint, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. If you liked this show, maybe you'll like our other shows that we do here at 368. We also do a show every Thursday at 7 p.m. called Super Late at 368. That one is starring Gabe and Bijan, where they talk about the week in gaming culture. And we also have a new show coming up, which I don't know if I should mention, so I maybe I won't. But we're constantly adding new shows to the roster. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at 368 on Instagram and on Twitter. And obviously, because you're watching, you know that we are twitch.tv/368NYC. As Narz said, we moved to Wednesdays now, not Fridays. So we are airing every Wednesday, 7 p.m. now. And
Yeah.
our next show will be covering The Last of Us Part 2, which I'm already 6 hours in. And that's all I will say.
I have to catch up, unfortunately. I've been playing so much Fallout 76 that I have to now switch gears. But I'm super excited. I actually played The Last of Us, the first part, so I didn't beat it, but I did kind of like watch someone else beat it. So I'm actually really excited to see the story unfold for Ellie and kind of like what happens with her and her dynamic with Joel. So, but we're not going to say any spoilers just yet.
Not yet, but just so all of you know, next week's episode will be so spoiler full. So please do not show up and then be surprised. Like, we're probably going to have to put in the title like spoilers, because don't show up and then be surprised if you get spoiled, because this is going to be some very crazy stuff that happens.
Spoiler! But yeah, guys, Super Late's tomorrow, so be sure to tune back in for Gabe and Bijan for Super Late. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, guys, we'll see you next time on GG.